That's great, man. Is it in focus? Is it out of focus?
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I get those things on camera because, I mean, I got one of them on camera, so you'll see one of the intros or videos where I'm walking out, like finish the episode, and I just flip the camera off.
I like the way you do your the Alex Rosen intro. It was like it just came in and you guys were in a conversation.
Yeah. That's usually how I try to get it going, because a lot of the Rogan podcasts, either they'll start like just in conversation, or they'll start like, hey, how you doing? Like, and I'm more of, most of the time, the people that I bring on, I kind of already know.
Yeah,
so it's like, it eases the nerves just by generally talking, and then you're like, oh shit, are we recording? You kind of forget. And that's my goal as a host, is to make you forget that we're recording.
Good, man. You're doing excellent.
So, but dude, I can't believe that it's been that long that you last time you remember I had long hair. Holy shit.
You had long hair. Yeah.
I've been a bad friend then.
Well, I saw you on the show with Alex, and I was like, wait a minute. Where'd his hair go? But yeah, last time I saw you in person, you had long hair.
Damn, that is crazy. Dude, working here is like a wormhole.
Yeah.
So you just lose track of time. You lose track of time, and you lose track of time, basically.
Sure. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've been out here. I think I was out here with Harrison. Gosh, it was at maybe summertime of last year or something like that.
Yeah, that's your profile pic right there, right?
That was the very first time I was on with Harrison. Actually.
That's one thing I love about you, brother, is like not many people appreciate their time that they've had on Infowars.
It's great.
So like knowing that
it started. I was brand new when I came on the Infowars the first time. I had really no following, and that was like.
Now we knew what it was.
First episode, man. It was like straight up.
Tomorrow's news today.
I'm telling you, man.
We know. So we got a nose for that.
Yeah,
we'll sniff you out, man.
It really, it really propelled. Like it really got us going for sure.
Yeah. So. All right. So just so people know and can find you right away, Mr. Jamie, tell people what you do and tell them where to find you.
Yeah. So covering pretty much homelessness, public safety. Not only in Austin, but now basically all of Texas at this point. From the border to Dallas. Yeah, we're covering from the border, all the way up to Dallas.
That's amazing.
But mainly focusing on here in Austin. Find me at YouTube, X, Facebook, Twitch. I mean, pretty much all over the place. If it's a platform, we're there. And it's either at Documenting ATX or Documenting Austin.
That's good, man. When is your name going to change since you outgrew Austin?
Yeah. Well, I have Dash Media at this point.
That's cool. That's right, because it is just Dash, so you could change from,
Yeah, I registered Dash Media, the LLC.
Yeah.
That's what Documenting Austin was actually. So I registered Dash Media originally. But Documenting Austin kind of. Do you know Cleo from Save Austin now here in Austin?
No, I know what Save Austin, but I don't know about Cleo.
She was the one that actually came up with the name Documenting Austin. Really? So,
did you call her like Miss Cleo?
Miss Cleo? No, I do call her Miss. Yeah. So my name was originally, when I very first started this, was Make Austin Safe Again. And it was a way to poke at the mayor, Steve Adler, and I would just shit post him constantly.
Dude, I forgot about him, bro. Yeah. He was so shitty that
it was bad.
I deleted him. I forgot about fucking the commie.
The guy had so many issues, but that's how I got started. I would shit post him under Make Austin Safe Again, and it started getting traction. And Cleo was like, "Hey, man, you got to change that. You're never gonna get anywhere with that name." Yeah. So that's how it changed.
And what does she run?
She is with Save Austin now. Her and Matt McCowiak here in Austin. It's a political action committee. She is a Democrat. Matt is obviously a Republican. So
would she come on the show?
She would. I guarantee you she would.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great, because we'd have a great conversation, and it'd be like something we can actually have a conversation about, and she'd realize that we're probably more aligned with her than she actually.
Well, she is a moderate Democrat. Most people think
she's like an old school Democrat.
Yeah, old school. And she knows more about this city than just about anybody. Okay. She was a former law enforcement officer as well, so she's got kind of a unique view on things.
Oh, Miss Cleo, she's going to come on my show, guys. I'm going to get Miss Cleo.
Yeah, she'll watch this.
All right. No good offending Miss Cleo. It's just, I'm gonna have to throw that clip in there so the fans understand.
Absolutely.
I have a lot of younger fans who probably don't know who Miss Cleo is. So
yeah, Cleo's awesome.
Throw that in there.
Miss Cleo's awesome.
I called into Miss Cleo when I was a kid to try to like get into the fortune teller. You know what she was, and they denied me.
Miss Cleo denied you, huh?
I was a kid, and they were like, "You're not 18 or older."
I remember Miss Cleo from when I was a kid.
Yeah. Those infomercials are great.
Absolutely.
That's like after 12 o'clock, there was nothing on TV other than infomercials.
Yep.
That were screaming at you with like the max dB allowed by FCC.
Back in the 90s, I was listening to Alex Jones on the radio talking about UFOs and all kinds of stuff.
He was like the George Norrie back then.
Man, it was great back then. As a young guy listening to this stuff, and then now to be here, it's pretty amazing.
It is. Call Miss Cleo now.
Call Miss Cleo. Yeah, so it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, it really has, man. And you've documented. You have a story in itself.
Yeah.
From where you were at one point in your life to basically why you know the ins and outs of these camps that has made you so successful of documenting to them. Do you want to? You want to explain to the fans of where you were at one point and you know how you just didn't. You're one of the stories that should make people realize that they can do anything they really want. Yeah. Because man, I respect you to the fullest from just from your story and what you do for your kids. If you don't want that out there, I can cut that out for sure. But
no, we can talk about it.
Yeah, like your story is truly amazing to me, man, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for you. And I am truly honored to have you on my podcast just as a human being. And you know, I don't care about your followers. I don't care about what other people see about you. Like meeting you, having the relationship that I do have with you, like we're brothers, man. And I truly am honored and I respect you to the fullest.
Well, Infowars was a big part of it in the beginning. So, do you want the condensed version? How I got here?
No.
Okay, so a lot of years ago, I was homeless here in Austin. I actually came to Austin as a homeless person. I started in Dallas, and it was incredibly difficult. And the word on the street is, get to Austin, it's easy to live as a homeless person. And it's true, it is. It's very easy to live here as homeless.
How? So did I get like... If you don't mind me asking, like, what year was that?
This was 2011.
2011. So
2010, 2011. Okay,
so a lot of people don't realize how this has been building up to get to where it's got in Austin for almost a decade now.
Yeah, and it's the policies in Austin that's kind of devolved the situation over the years. And the policies have been progressively getting worse and worse. But even, all these other cities, the word on the street, Austin, that's where you need to be. It's easy to live as a homeless person, and they are absolutely right. When I got here, I went right into the Salvation Army. I had a bed, ended up screwing that up. They have a curfew. Was late by about 10 minutes, and they're like, no, you're done.
Wow, 10 minutes.
So there's a church right next to the Capitol. I think it's a Methodist church. They let a lot of people sleep there at night, and the reason they do that is because most people that sleep there pick up their junk the next morning. And I would sleep there and then head down to Woodward and 35 and pick up day labor.
Okay.
$100 a day with lunch. You can save a lot of money doing that. It's hard work. I have never worked as hard in my life as that at that point.
You said it is just because I'm kind of from here. That's where Home Depot is at, right?
Yeah, that's the Home Depot.
Is that where you were?
Yeah. You go right down there to the Home Depot in the corner, get there 6 in the morning. The contractors coming in to pick up materials, and then they'd pick up people and head off to work. It's very hard work.
No, it really is. Because I only saw that, in other states.
Yeah.
I never thought that it was like something accessible.
Yep.
And, when you come to, I guess Austin was probably the only city that was kind of doing it at that point, right? Because there wasn't, you couldn't go to like Houston and they pick you up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was kind of like a culture that they were procuring in Austin.
Yeah, and it's still going today. I mean, when I was going down there 2011, around that time frame, the Home Depot didn't kind of want us on the parking lot, but now you go through there and they're just through the parking lot.
They're barbecuing and waiting for people to just ask them questions.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about how the policies have made it easier and easier over the years, and they wonder why the population's exploding. Where places like Dallas, it's the population is dwindling, but they $100 a day, cash money. With lunch, and you work for 8 hours and you're done. You could save a lot of money if you're not on dope or alcohol. You could save a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I was off the street within about 5.5 months.
Okay.
Met my wife. We met at Randall's, actually.
Really?
Yeah, my wife she's from Mexico.
Okay.
She was an immigrant here. And we ended up getting married, and we luckily enough, we adopted my 2 children that I have now. I have a 11-year-old and a 4-year-old. They're half brothers. They have the same mother, different dads.
Okay.
Their mother had some serious issues.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been pretty good since then. Yeah. So
and people don't realize if you do good work in society, that society and the universe and God kind of reimburses you.
It's God.
To absolutely
100% it is. And I mean, you don't go from living on the streets to adopting children within 9 years, 8 years, without some kind of help from
from up top.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how easy it is to be rewarded when you do good.
Yeah, just you just got to live a good life, help people as much as you can. I know you know that.
Yeah.
Trying your best to help people, and that's kind of what we're doing now, trying to give back. We found a guy down off of 35 in Congress. He was living in a camp. He was mowing yards. That's how he was making his living, and his mower broke. So we were able to get him a brand new mower. I haven't checked on him since then, but it's those kind of things, trying to help people as much as possible.
Absolutely.
And I think if you put the good out, you'll get the good back.
Yeah, that's exactly how karma works.
Yeah.
And,
oh man, karma's a bitch.
Yeah.
Pardon my language.
No, yeah, it's a bitch if you treat her like one. You know what I mean? I'm how would I say this as PG as possible? I put karma on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I will slave for karma because
Absolutely.
I know that that's how you get further in life by being a good person.
Yeah, and today it's hard, especially in this city. Things are so crazy right now. Politics rules the world. Even in homelessness and public safety, politics are up at the top. Everything is political. Just talking about, for example, just talking about Infowars, coming out here, and it's like the daggers come out from people, and I'll never understand that. I'll never understand why that is, and why people are so crazy when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Bro, it's like mentoring Trump. They have this derangement syndrome.
Yeah. For
anything that's on the right, and that's the crazy part about who we are, is that we're not on the right.
Yeah.
Literally, Alex is not on the right or the left. We're literally pro-humanity, and he says that all the time. He made a shirt about it, but to them, we are the opposition. No matter if you're in the center or if you're on the right, you're not the left. So
if you're not with them, you're against them completely. There is no middle ground, and
together we can reclaim our world and our freedom. This is Alex Jones signing off from the year 2084. Remember, the answer to 2084 is 1776.
I think I consider myself politically homeless.
Yeah.
It's a little bit from the left, a little bit from the right, mainly in the middle. But definitely not far right like everybody says.
Yeah, no, we're not. That's the whole thing. It's people we hate war. Why would we be far right? It's that's all they talk about is the far right is war, and the far left is your children or infringing on your rights.
Yeah, and look, we've got how many wars started now in the last 3.5 years? Yeah, Israel, Ukraine. It just blows my mind where we're at.
So growing up for you, how is it? How do you deal with the differentiation of them of society then and society now?
Well, things have gotten much angrier. You know what I mean? So I remember...
And that's their goal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Klaus Schwab, like,
Well,
create
it's like
an angrier world.
when I found myself on the street, you know, sleeping on the concrete's not fun. It's not easy. And, you know, when you're sleeping on the sidewalk, basically, and you have people walking by you and they look down at you kind of like you're a bug, you know, and there's so much hate when it comes to people. It's changed. It's getting worse. It's getting much worse. We live in a very progressive city where they say that they, you know, want these progressive policies and equality but it's not that way. It's a bunch of hate-filled, you know, it's hate. It's a bunch of hate. It's division. It's dividing by race, dividing by class, you know, dividing by gender, and
You just keep finding ways to divide us. Like it's
always something new.
Yeah, religion. It's crazy, and it's funny to me, the people that I've talked to who are progressive.
Yeah.
And you know, this is why I'm voting for Biden. You know, I'm looking for a more progressive. Okay, so what is progressive? I'll ask them, like, what is progressive? Is that progress, right? You want something to go further, something that's better than where we're at. And they're like, yeah, for sure. I was like, do you think the person that you're voting for is giving us that? And they're just like, well, it's better than the other side. Yeah. I was like, what is the other side?
I have no clue.
No, they have no idea, man.
And it's just like with these protests that we're seeing around the country at the colleges right now. I spent a lot of time out at UT during these protests.
How was that?
Would ask people, like, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? We want the university to divest from Israel. Okay, well, what does that mean? They don't really know.
No.
They have
like,
no clue.
Ask how much money is the university getting from Israel, and they're probably not getting any money from Israel because Israel gets their money from us.
Yeah, and you know and what's crazy is they say this is about Palestine. Okay, I get it. They care about Palestine, but everything that you hear there while you're at these protests is just communist talking points.
Yeah.
The People's Liberated Zone, you know, that's what they were calling the area where they were trying to start the encampment, the People's Liberated Zone. And
can you imagine that conversation with like UT and the police and the sheriffs, state troopers, like, hey, just we don't want an encampment here.
Yeah.
Just take them, get them all out.
And that's what was interesting about this, is because the 2 times that they tried the encampment was the 2 times that the police showed up. The other times where they did not try to start the encampments, the police just kind of stayed to the side. But every time they try to make a camp, obviously the school's going to send in the cops and shut it down. They don't want another Columbia or UCLA, and they've done a really good job at it.
That is so crazy. Like, you can tell Columbia is in bed with them, with whoever the entity is. And I mean, we all know the head of the snake is George Soros.
Yep.
But for the Columbia teachers to lock arms together to stop the police from getting into the people who have taken over I don't even know what actual building they took over, but it was so funny. It's like it's like, this is how you know they're retarded. Like, they really are retarded, because they would break the windows to put a bike lock so no one opens the door when you could just lock the door.
Yeah. It's theater.
Yeah,
it's
it really
performative.
is.
And you know, last week, let's see, I guess this was Wednesday or Thursday of last week, or this. Well, I guess it was this week. They had a protest out there. It was very small. It was the day after the big brouhaha out there when the cops showed up.
Okay.
This past week, they had 2 professors from the University of Texas that showed up to speak with the protesters. They were talking about how they would love, you know, they're inviting differing opinions and everybody else to participate. But literally the minute that one person said something that was outside of the talking points, they shut them down. There was no talk outside of that. And, you know, one of the big things that they were talking about, and I had this on video on my feed, was these professors were kind of riling up these protesters, saying, you guys have this chant that's IDF, KKK, APD, they're all the same. and they were telling the protesters it's not far off from the truth because the IDF has trained all of APD. And you know, I mean, that's such a crock. You know,
how does that even make sense?
I don't know. I did find out that there was one person in APD leadership that did go to a conference in Israel, but that's a far cry from the IDF trained the APD, and it was just riling up the crowd, is all it was. Yeah, it's sad.
It really is crazy. They could just say shit like that.
Yeah, that's the video there. It sure is. And that's Miss Cleo too. Yeah, they.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and that's the lady right there. She's telling them right then about the. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Gender studies.
She's a gender studies.
She's a gender studies teacher, professor.
I'm a gender studies professor, and I don't know what my gender is because there is no gender. Even though we created this job for a professor, where it constitutes me telling you what.
And what's crazy is when you go out there and talk to these people, or you listen to them talking to each other, the way they talk to each other is it's kind of amazing. It makes me wonder how they've survived this long, because they have no conflict resolution. They can't handle any dissenting voices, and if something makes them feel threatened, they shut down completely.
Absolutely, just like there's a couple of shouts out to FAFO Farms.
Oh,
just so you know, this is the raw milk. I had to give them a shout out. I love Clint. Clint used to work with Jamie here.
Yep.
This is literally some of the, if not the best raw milk I have ever had. And there's no sticker on here. Actually, you know what? I think I just had an idea. I'm going to produce some FAFO's Farms stickers, so that way I could put it on. One side would be that Infowars cup, and the other side would be, because they are such an amazing group of people.
Some
Clint
of the best
and Christina,
milk you can have.
I love y'all to death. Can't wait for y'all to come in the studio and be on the show.
Yeah, they Clint and Christina at FAFO Farms, they're a huge reason why I'm still here.
Absolutely, yeah. You were just filling me in on that earlier, and it's so crazy how the people who have been attracted to Infowars, like we kind of have like our own little like semicircle, but like underneath Infowars, and it's like we all kind of ended up being able to be here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's crazy to me.
You know, these guys. You know, it's like everybody sticks together. You know, I met you year and a half ago, something like that, maybe 2 years ago now. It's been a minute. Yeah,
He met me when I had hair. Yeah, I actually, for some of the new viewers, I used to have long hair, and I cut it because it was about that time. But that's how long it's been since we actually saw in person. And
yeah, we were hanging out at a place down on, I forget where was that, down on, was it San Jacinto or 6th Street?
Yeah. Then I used to have the high rise at
the high rise place. Yeah. So. It's a great place. That's the last time I saw you actually in person.
Yeah, I don't have that anymore. The place got a little 6th Street is a little. Yeah, I'm toxic as fuck, but 6th Street just became like deadly, and I'm like, I'm not trying to die. And a couple of y'all know we had Summerfest out here. When was it? I think it might have been Summerfest, but I hosted a couple parties with the Infowars crew, or with Infowars fans, and I love y'all to death. Y'all came out to my job when I was working production down at 6th Street, and it was the American Liberty Awards. That's what it was. And I can't believe how, like, I have fans. You just me even saying that, it's like, it blows my mind. I love y'all to death. And sorry for the shameless plug.
I'm so impressed with where you're at right now. I mean, this is I knew you know, look, you're good at what you do, so it was obvious you were going to end up here, but this is very awesome.
That. Yeah. It is crazy. So let's get back to these mindless protesters that you were saying they have a gender studies teacher lying to them that APD was trained by IDF. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, like I said, I went and did some research on that, and yes, there was I forget what his rank even was. He was in the command staff that did do a conference in Israel, but that's where it stopped. It wasn't like the IDF was here or they were over there training. It just makes no sense, and it was all just riling them up, is all it was. And you know, it's just you know, and the other thing with these guys is the violence. Everybody says these were non-violent protests, and that is just a crock. I also have a video on my page. I was streaming it out there. It was actually the first time I was supposed to come here that afternoon. They had there was a police car parked sideways blocking the road off, and I was leaning over the hood, and one of these protesters came out of the crowd with a 6-inch knife and stabbed the tire of the police cruiser and missed my knee by about a ½ inch to an inch. I was looking down, I was like, holy smokes. It was at that point that they started throwing water at the cops, water bottles at the cops, and then the cops started using pepper spray on them. And it was like a feeding frenzy. You know, the protesters would egg on the cops until they got a response, and once they got a response, then they would ratchet it up a little bit more. And finally, the police, it's like a tactical retreat. They finally kind of moved back out of there. And the protesters thought, they're like, we just won. We just won. They're leaving. And it's like, there's a big difference. That was before the flashbangs started getting thrown. Yeah. They think they won. They thought that they were running the police off campus. There was protesters on the Travis County jail bus, and they had went and surrounded it, trying to de-arrest the protesters, and then the cops finally threw flashbangs at them. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you've ever been around a flashbang being thrown. Yeah. We were across campus, man, and they're loud. Yeah. They are very loud. So, yeah, they definitely didn't win that battle,
dude. And that sucks that you don't see. This is the stuff that you don't see. Like the media doesn't show you this. We're definitely gonna have to amplify that, man. I will definitely go through your live stream and try to take that out, because that is insane. The fact that all they'll show you is the corny stuff. They'll show you the tug and the tug and pull back and forth. They won't. Thomas, there's that video of the Portland trash can brigade. If you want to pull that up,
so funny. I watched that earlier, where they come out with the trash cans.
Dude, it's literally so great. That is literally Antifa.
Yeah,
that's if people can't see the fact that all these tactics that they're doing is the same tactic Antifa has been doing this entire time. Like
every city, every place. And you're right, that video is so great, where they come running down the street with the shields, and they have bicycle helmets on.
Bro, there's pink bike helmets, there's white bike helmets, they got masks on with goggles.
It's great.
And then the guy just gets cleared just right off his feet.
Right up to, they're going to run through the line of cops. And he gets just,
dude,
there it is. It's so
funny,
great.
Because the guy who's running with him, he lifts up his shit and I'm going to duck off to the left. I'm not doing that.
I mean,
I'm running away.
He didn't even move that cop.
No.
That cop basically just put his hands out and he just hit the ground. It's so great.
Dude, it's so great. So it's like, what were you trying to achieve? I don't get it.
And I'm afraid Austin is headed that way. Portland has gone completely insane. I mean, that started back in 2020.
Hey, there's hope though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know.
I've heard.
But there's a stripper who's running for mayor of Portland. It might be saved, guys. The stripper might save Portland.
Is it really?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? And Portland is a place a stripper could win. Austin too. I mean, Austin's so crazy, but I mean, seriously, they say that Austin is a few years behind Oakland, or and that's where Christina from FAFO Farm. She's from Oakland. I think Clint's from out there too. Yeah, she is. And I mean, the parallels between out there and here, as Oakland grew up into its craziness. I mean, we're right on track with the crazy cities from out west.
Yeah, but I think the only difference that will stop any of that actually turning into the rest of them is the fact that we have constitutional carry.
Yeah, and I mean, you see what happened at the university with the cops. This is Texas. They're not going to put up with this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And, and these protesters, they're screeching because they're not getting their way like these other campuses.
Yeah.
And, what is his name? Jay Hartsnell, isn't he the president at UT?
It is, okay.
He basically was like, no, we're not doing this, guys. Y'all want to build the encampments? It's, it's over. We're done.
You're not homeless. You can't build encampments.
Done. Out of here.
Only the homeless can have encampments.
Yeah, I identify as homeless.
Yeah, right. So at least they have rights.
And, but yeah, they, this is Texas. Everybody has guns. I think most everybody has guns. So you're right. A lot of this nastiness probably wouldn't happen here.
No,
No.
no.
So, I mean, maybe in Austin, I don't know. So the way I look at it, we go into homeless camps a lot, and I carry when we're in homeless camps. And, if we were ever put in a spot where we had to use force, and I know, Dave, the guy that goes to the camps with me, he carries as well. If we were ever put in a position to use force, we'd probably be charged by Garza.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, Garza is a fucking faggot who probably dresses as a drag. He's a total piece of shit.
He is probably about to be removed from office,
Yeah,
but at
so.
the same time, he's running in November, so he's going to win again. But the homeless population here in
he's
Austin,
running again?
Yeah,
I might have to find a stripper to run against them.
They've got that lawsuit. Betsy, I forget what her last name is, but she's sued to have him removed.
Yeah, and there's somebody else that's exposing. Oh, is it Alex Rosen? No, somebody else has been going really, really hard for Garza. I forgot who it was. Damn it.
There's an attorney, Martin Harry, I think is what his name is. You can find him on Twitter. He is going hard.
Oh, it's
at Garza.
Stringer. Alex Stringer too.
Alex Stringer,
Alex Stringer's going fucking hard as fuck on him, man.
Dude, Alex is so funny, man.
Yeah, I recorded with him the other day.
Yeah.
The day before yesterday, on Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, we were out at the protest with him for a couple of days.
Yeah,
and he was getting into it with people out there because of his shirts. I love his shirts.
Trans-vaccinated.
And people are like, turn that camera off. Turn that camera off. But, yeah, Garza's probably going to be removed before the election. There's a new law here in Texas that if he basically doesn't enforce the law, then he can be removed.
Oh, nice.
So a lady here in Austin has filed a lawsuit against him, trying to remove him. There has been a Republican judge and a Republican prosecutor assigned that are both not fans of his. So he's probably going to get removed. Now, the only thing is, even if let's say he's removed in August, he's already on the ballot in November, and he'll win again. So he'll be removed for a few months, and then we'll have to do it all over again.
Well, I have hope in Texas that if somebody who's removed, they might not vote for him. But then again, I'm not really one who trusts our voting system, so I will be inclined to agree with you that he will be reelected, whether he was actually elected or installed.
There's some serious issues with the voting here in Texas, or here in the United States, not just in Texas.
Yeah.
And not only is there serious issues with voting, but the voters in Austin seem to not really care.
No.
They're voting along identity politic lines.
That's all it is here. And
What are you gonna
I
do?
think, sadly, Austin might be that way for a little longer than most cities throughout the United States because there's a lot of money in Austin.
A lot of money.
So a lot of these people aren't going to feel the same pain as others are feeling because they're not feeling it in their pocketbooks. There's a lot of big tech here. There's a lot of, they're trying to make it another Silicon Valley, basically.
Yeah.
And I think that will succeed if Elon moves everything over here.
Yeah.
He's almost there.
Isn't he in the process of doing basically that?
Is he? Yeah. He's got Tesla out here.
Yeah.
SpaceX is ran out of over by South Padre Island.
Yeah, and then
South
they
Texas.
also have a engine plant up by Waco. I forget what the little town. It's right outside of Waco.
Is that where the Tesla? I think it's going up north towards that way. There's a Tesla tower.
Yeah,
Right?
it is. It's so they have. I wish I could remember the little town's. Is it McGregor? McGregor.
It is right.
McGregor.
Okay, yeah.
It's right on the outside of Waco, out in the middle of the country. They have a huge facility out there,
Really?
and I
Okay.
used to take my little boy out there when he was younger. We'd go to have a lunch at Dairy Queen and listen to him test those motors.
Oh shit! That's
So yeah, it
nice.
wouldn't surprise me if that's where they're putting it out there. I know that Glenn Shotwell, their president, had just bought a house out there as well. So
Yeah, they're slowly. And how do you feel about Elon?
I'm kind of up in the air a little bit. I go back and forth.
I'm still 50-50.
He, he seems to care about free speech, but then some of the things that he says and doesn't really align with the free speech.
Yeah.
And plus, he's one of the elite, so to speak. And I just have a distrust.
He's the
for those
richest man
people.
in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And-
And this is kind of where I can understand how if he wants something done, it might take a little while.
Yeah.
Because he might get a good amount of pushback on its way down. So something might get, as it's going down, it might get watered down to the point to where the person at the bottom is like, okay, I heard him say something, but this is a directive that you're giving me.
Yeah.
So they might have to follow the directive that their direct boss gives them.
Yeah.
And who knows if that direct boss is direct boss 2 levels above, doesn't really like Elon, or is still like trying to straddle the fence with their beliefs and like wanting to keep their job.
The main reason I respect the guy is because all of these companies that he's built seem to be aimed at one goal, and that's making it to Mars. You know, SpaceX.
See,
Tesla.
At least he's consistent.
Yeah. It's like all of these companies are aimed. Their Tesla motors, Tesla batteries are on these rockets now. The AI that's used in the Tesla cars is used on the rockets. It's the same. So it's very interconnected.
Yeah, and I mean, what he's really trying to do is more pro-human than the establishment. Yeah. Absolutely, and I just don't think people take into consideration how long getting something done, like changing Twitter.
Yeah.
It's not something that can happen overnight just because of how detailed and advanced everything is that runs Twitter.
And when he bought Twitter, knowing what it was going to do, he put his what's on the chopping block.
Absolutely.
And he if I'm not mistaken, the government has investigations on him right now. I mean, he really put it all on the line.
Yeah, he did.
And I couldn't figure out because they say that there was really no financial reason. He wasn't going to make money off of Twitter with the way it was. Apparently, it was losing a ton of money at that point.
Bro, did you see like the way those Twitter employees were living?
It's crazy, man.
Like they were going to work their work was a vacation.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk in the door. I'm going to grab my coffee. I'm going to stop at the spa.
Yep.
Then I'm going to go to the jacuzzi.
Yep. Get my breakfast
made for me. And then I'll make my way to my office. And I might censor a couple people today.
Can you imagine getting to work like that and get paid at the same time?
And getting paid. It's right. Don't forget, they were getting paid for this. Sheesh.
It's yeah, and it's no wonder they were losing that much money. For one, from what I hear, they had like 3 people for every one job.
Yeah,
they were so overstaffed.
But they didn't have to worry about losing money because they were getting paid from the government.
Yeah, they were set.
They were one of those companies that would have qualified as too big to fail.
Yeah, and when word came out, do you remember everyone just basically pooping their pants when word came out that he was looking at buying them, and literally the people that was working there was just like. Their heads blew up.
Elon's gonna be my boss. He's gonna fire me. Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like they're making like heartfelt Twitter videos on how they're gonna lose their jobs before he even bought it.
Well, they knew that they were dispensable, and it's like, and the minute that he took over, that's exactly what happened. They shut the doors on the place. People lost,
He walked in with the sink.
Great,
he walked in with the sink.
Can you imagine having that kind of FU money? I mean, honestly.
If I was like a Twitter guy, I would have been in that lobby waiting for Elon to show up to work so I could be like,
yeah, heck yeah, dude.
Whether I agreed with him or not, they knew he was cleaning house. I would have been on there brown nosing like, Elon, I love you, bro. Like, you changed my life.
I am so glad that he bought Twitter, though. If it wasn't for Twitter, I wouldn't be here right now, honestly. I was demonetized on every other platform, Facebook, YouTube, all of them.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, man, you can't make money here.
That's the only place I'm at right now is Twitter.
X, on the other hand, they're like, yeah, we'll give you a paycheck.
Yeah.
And last month's ad revenue for me was great because he replied to one of my videos. Damn. And the minute that he did that, I mean, the views were like through the roof. So if I could just get him to reply once a month to a video, man, I'd have it. I'd have it made. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, dude. He's it's literally somebody that, and I think he's a different person now, and not because I just think he's grown so much since he's put himself in the limelight.
Yeah.
Take a look at how his first interview with Joe Rogan went.
Yeah.
Like he was, it was hard for me to watch that whole thing at first because I was like, man, this might be a robot.
Yeah.
He was just that socially kind of awkward.
He was very awkward.
And he was willing to do he was willing to change. He was
Yeah.
willing. He was trying to figure out his new identity, maybe. But seeing him smoke with Joe Rogan, and then like all that was new to him.
relaxed.
Yeah, all that was new to him, and I think that was a big changing point to set the precedent of him now going out like in front of like he's having like the Cybertruck reveal. Like he's out there just having a good time, dancing.
It's good.
And like he probably like the Cybertruck, he broke the window on it. This is a bulletproof glass, and he broke it. He was just like, "Fuck it, this is probably not the exact one. This is just a replica." And he didn't let that deter him, though. You know what I'm saying? Like he just kept going.
The other thing that kills me about him is that it seems like after he bought Twitter, and seeing all the censorship, he was a Biden voter. He has went hard right since in the last 3 years. If you watch the way he talks on Twitter now, he is very much a right-leaning person at this point.
Yeah.
I think he's a Trump voter.
I think he's more of a centrist.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I don't think I think he'd be like us, politically homeless, because like look at Trump. Trump is before his FBI raid. Like Trump was kind of like on his way out.
Yeah, he was.
He kind of fucked up with the vaccines, and then he kept, then he brought on Bill O'Reilly to try to save him. It's like, bro, like he finally broke out of only catering to boomers.
Yeah,
he realized because he got heckled at that Bill O'Reilly thing. See, look at him, man. Like he's so.
Oh yeah,
he's so
relaxed.
Comfortable. Look at him. It's just a whole other person. And I really want to thank Joe for doing this, man, because he is. I want to say one of the sole. I will say the sole reason like Elon is different, because this right here made him socially acceptable to the actual entire world. Dude, my table's never gonna get like that. If y'all want to bring me stuff, the guest, I might put it on there, but my table won't get that crazy. But
did you see the video where he let Rogan shoot the Cybertruck?
Yeah, with the arrow. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. They're broing out. They're broing out.
It was impromptu.
Yeah, he's like,
we could do it.
I think I have a bow here. Oh, I don't have my big bow here. I only have this bow. He's like, it don't matter. It won't go through it anyways.
You can see the sparks coming off that truck. It's great, man.
And it's like you can see just the life coming out of Elon, and he got away from Grimes. It's like he got away from the establishment at the perfect time, and everything was just so synergistic.
Yeah,
like Alex says, that's another term he coined, synergistic. And everything happened at the perfect timing, and now we're just like, we kind of get a win on for centrists.
Yeah,
the right's always going to get a win because they're always going to war. The left is going to get a win because they're pieces of shit and they control fucking DAs and everything else, and George Soros. But the centrists got a win there, man, and we don't get those very often. And I hate the way that truck looks, but I will get one just to support Elon Musk.
There's the weed smoking.
That's a spliff, actually. It's only half weed.
I watched a...
look at him. He's so happy.
the next interview that he did with Rogan after that, he was talking about how much trouble that got him in, where he was having to... Because he's a government contractor.
Yeah.
Not only him, but his employees were having to do drug tests. It got him in a lot of trouble for smoking that on the air.
And he said, "Fuck it."
Yeah,
he's like,
"Gonna do it anyway.
People are gonna ride with me, or they're gonna die with me. Who's on the team?"
That's what's great about him too, because it's like I heard him tell a story about this big rocket he's building down on the coast.
Yeah,
they were, he was like, we made the rocket a certain shape. I forget what he was talking about. It's a certain shape because of the 2000 A Space Odyssey. It's like a homage to that movie. And I think a lot of where we're at, like right now, or where he is at politically, I think it shocked us all watching what happened at Twitter. And how the censorship about COVID-19, about transgenderism, and everything that was happening at that point, and how the White House was involved in it, and the government was involved in it, the Department of Homeland Security. That's pretty scary, man, because if they're doing it at Twitter, they're doing it at every other...
Just imagine how deep into Facebook they are, because Facebook has their doors wide open for them.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? For sure.
Yeah.
Like, Zuckerberg is literally
He's just
a
bend
DOJ
over
slut.
Just
for sure.
come on in, man.
Basically.
Yeah. And, I mean, there would be no pushback.
No.
I can't believe that he is still running that company after what they did with the 2020 election and how deep he was involved.
That's because he's not running it. And he's just the face of it.
And it's just sad.
I mean, I'm sure you've heard of this, but maybe a lot of our fans might not have heard of this, but Facebook was a government program before it was actually a Facebook. It was called LifeLog, and they were logging the lives of Americans and put it into this database, and they realized that the American public is so gullible to where they could just have them log their life for them. So that's why it became Facebook. Like, it's a book of faces. It's your face is in a book, and all the information you ever put on that program is in that book of faces. So they have profiles on you way more detailed than you could ever imagine, and then they're going to use that AI. They're going to add AI to that, and AI is going to be able to analyze your entire profile, and then they're going to be able to add on all these other platforms. Or what do they do on Twitter? Or what do they do on Gorf? Or what do they do on well, there's these like Gab and Getter. Probably they're not going to give them your information. I think those are the only two that I could probably comfortably say that won't give your information to the government. But I can't say that about Twitter. You can't say that about I don't really get on social media, so I really don't know. But yeah, it's like literally the day that that the Pentagon killed LifeLog, Facebook started. So like Facebook is the government, and that's why all he has to do, Zuckerberg has to do is go to Hawaii and just do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And then people don't realize how Maui is actually tied into all of that.
Yeah.
Maui and Hawaii doesn't like what Zuckerberg is doing.
For sure.
And there's really no difference to me to what they're doing in Hawaii. What they did to Hawaii is what they're doing to Gaza.
Yeah.
Like, they're 100%. Just clearing out this beachfront property so that way they can have their people go there and have their own utopia.
Except for the Obama's home. It was spared, remember?
Oh, yeah,
it was
spared. Yeah.
So what do you think, speaking of social media, what do you think about Truth Social and DJT? Did you buy any DJT?
No, man. I am on Truth Social, but I haven't even logged into that in a long time.
A lot of people made a lot of money.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing. Like, I'm not even mad at Trump for creating a platform, making it public, and making money off of it. Like, that's
billions.
That's definitely. I mean, that's exactly what he does.
Yeah.
Like
he's a businessman.
Exactly.
That's what he's always done. And the thing is people are faulting him for that. It's like, you're only faulting him for that because his last name is Trump. That's literally, anybody else would have done that. It would have been okay. And now there's no disagreement on his status as a billionaire anymore because he's literally just off of DJT, a billionaire. And the left, they just go screeching off into the night. And I don't know. The things that they put that man through. It's kind of like with Alex Jones.
Yeah.
The things that they have put both of them through in the last 4 years. It's gosh, man, it's scary. It's scary.
And what's the scarier part to me is the fact that we'll tell you what they're doing. We are the test cases. People are like, whatever. Like, okay, first of all, a lot of people don't believe that we're going through the trials and tribulations that we're actually going through.
Yep.
And then we tell you that we're only the first step. This is only the precedent. And they actually do this to other people.
Yeah.
Just like with Owen Schroyer.
Yep.
He went to jail.
Yeah, sure did.
There wasn't very much pushback on that.
Nope.
Guess what happened? There's another Steve Baker. Like, there's just going after reporter. There's that Wall Street Journal reporter who's still in jail in Russia, right? He's in Russia. And they're accusing him of being, I don't know what they're accusing, probably of being a spy.
Our other big story tonight, the U.S.-Russian prisoner swap.
That's right. Today's swap, part of a multinational deal considered the biggest in post-Soviet history. It sent 2 dozen people free, including 3 U.S. citizens and another permanent resident.
Let's kick things off with Antoine Lewis live in the newsroom. Antoine, you've been monitoring the developments all day.
I have. And now this involved prisoners being held in 7 different countries on 2 different continents. And it's one of the biggest acts of diplomacy between Russia and the United States in recent memory. 54-year-old Marine Corps veteran Paul Whelan and 32-year-old Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich are no longer being unlawfully detained, freed as part of a massive prisoner swap between the United States and Russia. Surrounded by their families, President Biden says both are now on the way home.
They're out of Russia. Earlier today, they were flown to Turkey, and soon they'll be wheels up on their way home to see their families. This is an incredible relief for all the family members gathered here. It's a relief to the friends and colleagues all across the country who've been praying for this day for a long time.
Also freed were Russian-American journalist Alsu Kumashiva, who works for U.S.-funded Radio Free Europe, and Russian journalist and dissident Vladimir Kara-Murza, a U.S. permanent resident. The White House released this photo Thursday afternoon of the ex-detainees. Their release was part of an exchange that included more than 24 prisoners in 7 countries, including the U.S., Russia, Germany, and Turkey.
They all stepped up, and they stood with us. They stood with us. And they made bold and brave decisions, released prisoners being held in their countries who are justifiably being held, and provided logistical support to get the Americans home.
Evan Gershkovich was arrested in March of 2023 and sentenced to 16 years in prison on charges of spying and espionage, charges both he and his employer denied. This was the reaction in the Wall Street Journal newsroom minutes after they learned Gershkovich was being freed. Paul Whelan has been in custody since 2018 and was also sentenced to 16 years on bogus espionage charges. Russia has resisted making him part of any previous prisoner swaps, including the deal that brought WNBA star Brittany Griner home in exchange for Russian arms dealer Victor Bout back in December of 2022. Steve and Natasha, the State Department says the plane with the ex-prisoners is expected to arrive in Washington, D.C. tonight around 11:30. The president, the vice president, and senior U.S. officials will be on hand to join the families in welcoming them back home. I'll see you again at 6.
Yeah, what a major unexpected development. Wow, thanks, Antoine.
And
yeah,
they're just...
It kills me.
We don't blink an eye at that.
It kills me because, you know, people like Trump, probably one of the most investigated men in the world at this point, you know, in trial in New York. Owen went to jail for a month over
2 months, yeah.
Completely nothing. Yep. You know, it was just a made up charge just to charge somebody. Yep. And then Alex Jones with a lawsuit. And then these guys, they every day, with a great attitude and still push forward like it never happened. And
yeah.
it blows me away, you know, that these men are that strong.
Yeah, man, we're blessed to have that type of strong entity in those shoes to be able to withstand that type of stuff, because most people just crumble. And, I cater to them like, okay, I'm sorry, like, what do you want me to do?
I think about that, like, you know, doing what I'm doing. You know, if the city was to ever come after me in a small way, like, it would scare me to death. And I wonder if, like, would I quit? Or, you know, but then you see what, like, Alex Jones went through, Owen went through, all of, you know, these other January 6ers. And it's like, no, you can't give up. If you give up, you're just letting them win.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there, you know, why make it easy? You know, why just give up and roll over?
No, for sure. And before we move on, I just want to bring up another name a lot of people don't even talk about is Gonzalo Lira. Like, he was literally a journalist who was covering the Ukraine war and went to Ukraine, and they never let him out. Like, he made a video walking out saying, he's like, I'm trying to leave Ukraine right now, and I won't be surprised if I get to the end and
he died in prison in Ukraine, didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't they kill him over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that journalist. And his crime was being critical of Ukraine.
Yeah. And it's not like he was on the right. Nope. He was more centrist to the left, if anything. Yeah. He was just covering the truth.
And his crime was being critical of Ukraine. Yeah. And that's what we're supporting right now with billions and billions of dollars. It makes me sick.
Let me ask you this. With all the money that was sent to Ukraine, how much of the America's homeless could be cured?
Well, a lot. A whole lot. Especially if it was ran by a city that didn't have the crazy policies like Austin has. You could take the billions of dollars that was sent over there and probably house just about, not only house, but house and get these people into services and try to start treating the causes of homelessness. it would be very easy to do that with that amount of money. Not only that, but we still have children in this country that they don't know where their next meal is coming from, and that's a shame when we're sending that kind of money to fight a war that we don't belong in.
Yeah.
And when our children, I have a real soft spot in my heart for kids. That's kind of, I guess, why my wife and I adopted.
No, for sure.
And it makes me sick, sometimes to see these children in the homeless camps and to see kids that are hungry. It's heartbreaking, and that amount of money, it always makes me wonder. It's why can we do that? Why can we send this money to fight a war we have no business being in, but we can't feed our own kids at home? It's so backwards, man.
Yeah, we're living in upside down world, in the inversion of our reality, to the point to where like things that are black and white are just muddied now.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, and with progressive politics, it's always that way. It's always
and that's the thing, though. It's like both sides are progressive because they're not really worried about. Either side is really worried about America.
Yeah. So you're kind of talking about the uniparty then.
That's really what it is. It's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. You're right.
People ask me, people give me shit because I'm not. I still don't think I'm going to vote this year.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why aren't you going to vote? Well, you work in Infowars and this and that. It's like, yes, okay, I work here. What have we been screaming for the last 3.5 years? We have so much evidence of election fraud.
Yep.
We have so much evidence of election fraud, and you want to get mad at other people for believing the left. Like, you get mad at people believing the left. They're doing the same thing over and over. Like, personally, I can't sit here and scream election fraud for 3.5 years and then go vote in the same election system that I'm saying is fraudulent and expecting things to change. So I get a lot of shit for that.
Yeah, no, it's understandable.
And I just, people are like, you have to have hope. I was like, okay, I have hope for humanity, absolutely. Yeah. But as far as actual voting goes, I'd be a hypocrite if I say that I trust, or I can go vote confidently that my vote will go for.
There was just so much evidence of voter fraud. Not only voter fraud, but just there were so many issues in 2020. And on social media, I mean, they had it down pat. If you said anything about it on social media, you were gone.
Mm-hmm.
You could not even discuss it. And I keep going back. I keep thinking there's that one video where they're doing the count and the observers are outside the windows and they're putting up things to keep the and it's just that one video alone should make people understand like something's not right. If the observers can't observe,
what are they hiding?
Yeah,
and people don't want to know. That's the thing. They won't ask these questions. Like these mail-in ballots. 2,000 Mules is one of the most important movies of our life. Like, why are you wearing a glove to put ballots in a box, and why do you have more than one? It's just, that's what I'm saying, man. The actual evidence of election fraud is astronomical to the point to where, like, I should be the one who's calling y'all crazy for not thinking that there's election fraud. And then you go talk about Dominion voting themselves. We had I don't know how true this person really is, but Pablo Escobar Jr. came into his spaces today. Okay. And this is Pablo, the drug dealer's son.
Yep.
So it's kind of hard with people on Twitter to kind of verify their identity. But he had a lot of great points that not a lot of people who wouldn't be his son. He's like, yeah, they offered my uncle Dominion voting, so that way in case he wanted to ever be president, and they were like, no, we're not doing that. And like,
so this was Escobar's son.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Saying that Dominion offered him the services so that way he could become president.
It doesn't surprise me, man.
Fucking that's crazy.
We all know about Dominion. Back when 2020 happened, they didn't just talk about, they didn't pull Dominion out of their ass and the problems with it. That came from somewhere. I don't care how many lawsuits Dominion files against whoever. They didn't just make that up out of thin air. No. Something is seriously wrong with Dominion. And guess what we're still using? We're still using Dominion voting system. So what's going to happen? I mean, 81 million votes. Come on, man. a dead man walking, and
I mean,
81.
how many dead voters have they actually proved were dead who were able to cast a ballot?
Well, did you see, this was just a few weeks ago, where here in Texas, there is, I forget what the website's name is right now, but they track voter irregularities. And there was new voter registrations that did not have a social security number that the person ended up dead. And we're talking like 86,000 of them within 1 week. Dead people, dead voters that registered. And it happened also up in Missouri. That's a big problem, man. I'm sorry.
What do you mean, man? It's normal. I mean, dead people voted. Duh.
But 86,000 dead voters in 1 week. I mean, and then you look at like the stuff that Act Blue is doing, about the donations, where you have one old lady out in the middle of nowhere that did, 1,000 separate donations, and it's so.
I think I think Rosen did. He went inside, undercover the nursing home. I think it was to. I think he was tagging along with a person who was trying to get people to vote for Democrats, and they had ballots with them, and they were just like, no, that's fine, just sign your name here, and like they were going in and having these old people just write on ballots and write their name down, and that counted as a vote. I
think ballot harvesting had a lot to do with in 2020. It's not hard. You scare the piss out of people with COVID, especially older people. That you tell them if you're older and you get COVID, you're going to die. And then you come in with the ballots and hey, just fill this out, and just go through one nursing home. How many votes is that? And they were doing this all over the country.
None of them remember. Like, think about how genius that is of a ballot harvesting. Every nursing home is a ballot harvesting farm. Because the people that go there, the people who actually live there, if they're in a nursing home, they might have a little bit of a memory problem, I would say. So if the people who work there are part of, people, think about during COVID and nursing homes. They weren't letting people in there.
Nope.
So
no family,
no nothing. So do you think these people are on our side? No. And all they have to do is give these people anywhere from $50 to $100 and be like, hey, we're coming back. We're doing some more voter. All they have to say literally is we're going to a nursing home to do some voter to give information.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To teach these people, just to talk to them about the upcoming election. And okay, yeah, cool. Just don't worry about what's going on. We'll give you this much money, or give you a gift card to go do this.
Yep.
And they can go back and they can have these same people who don't remember they already signed a ballot
sign it again.
To sign another one and sign another one. So nursing homes could be, man, honestly, it's so easy to be a piece of shit. Gosh,
oh yeah,
man,
and our voting
so
system, if it's not in-person voting on a paper ballot that's hand counted, with the mail-in voting, it's never going to be right.
No. And the fact that mainstream news shot a video of people hacking into voting machines.
Oh, yeah.
Kamala Harris even talked about it.
Yep.
And that just gets swept under the rug.
But you can't see that, man. Just close your eyes and look away.
They live.
You didn't see it.
Don't put the glasses on.
You didn't see it. And the thing with the mail-in voting with COVID, that we don't have that this year. So, I guess they could technically bring something back pretty quick.
Who knows how the summer of love, summer of rage is going to. It could get so bad where they put martial law. We've been under martial law since Obama was here, so people don't know. They could just shut it off and you can't go anywhere in a heartbeat.
I mean, you hear about bird flu now, in the milk. And then
it transferred. It transferred to pigs because the pigs drank the milk from the cows.
Yep.
It just doesn't make
time to start scaring people. Monkeypox, that's coming back.
So do you think that they take? I don't think liberals have these type of balls, but they could take this ballot harvesting idea to homeless encampments.
I'm sure they probably do.
Really?
I'm sure they probably do.
You think they're you think they're scared to go into them?
Well, so. Let's say here in Austin, for example, most of the camps, they can be dangerous, but, not technically. most people know the ones to stay out of, which is the drug camps where the drugs being sold. Though, you know, that's dangerous. But all the other ones on the green belts where it's just trails, yeah, man, you could walk. Anybody could walk down those. It would be very easy for these people to go down and take ballots to these people and say, you know, here's $20. You know, write your name on this and vote for this guy. That's a lot of people. We have 10,000 homeless just here in Austin, and you know,
damn, so $50,000, they could go out and give these people $50 and have them sign 4, 5, 10 ballots. We'll give you $1 for every ballot you sign.
And do you really think they're going to say anything about it? No, man. No. And you know, and on a local politics level, when voter turnout, like the primaries was like what, 8%. Yeah, just a handful of those kind of votes would turn an election over if they could get away with it, which they can.
Yeah, I would say which they can
with this current system. It's scary.
Man,
it's
really
scary,
is.
man.
Really
This is like Civil War type territory.
Yeah, that's what their mainstream is talking about now. Is like they're trying to. They've been creating an angrier world.
Yeah,
and they're gonna blame it all on Joe Biden. Yeah, look at America. Y'all are failing, and it's all this one person's fault.
Yeah,
and it's not. They're not gonna say it's Biden's fault.
Well, and the other thing, you know, this year, this election, it doesn't matter who wins. One side or it's not going to accept the election results.
Yeah.
If Biden wins again with 81 million votes, the right is not going to accept it. If Trump wins, the left will just shit the bed over that one. And so, I mean, what do you do at that point when literally somebody is not going to accept the results of the election? That's very much heading in one direction, which is civil war.
No, for sure, and that's like one of the biggest things where I saw. So, to me, I was trying to explain this to Stranger the other day. It's like we've been at a tug and pull between left and right forever. And I told him, like, just think back to our time. Let's just go back to 2000. 2000 to 2008, that's Bush. 2008, that's the right. 2008 to 2016, that's the left.
Yep.
And what happened in 2016? They went back to the right. Now 2020 went back to the left. It's always going to be that way. Just so that way they can mess with our emotions, and that's just how they get their policies passed without having to actually. I mean, look how much trouble Trump had from 2016 to 2018, and we almost lost the midterms because of that. I want to say we probably did because Pelosi was still speaker, and that was just so much chaos. It's like the chaos went from the streets to Congress.
Have you ever heard of an author named Michael Crichton? He wrote like Jurassic Park and all of those. He has a book called State of Fear. Yeah, it's fiction, but he's got a really good point about the government. If you look back through all of the different administrations, they have something that they're pushing to keep people scared. That way they can keep control of people. You know, there has to be something. Climate change, terrorism, whatever. There's always something, and it's creating a state of fear to keep people afraid enough that the government can stay in control.
And I think right now that's what the migrant crisis is setting up. Yeah, what do you think of this video?
Which one is this?
So this is where that cameraman is.
Yes. Okay. So I know Carlos. I don't know him personally, but just from covering events in Austin.
Yeah, replay that video when you can.
He hit the cop in the back.
Twice.
Yeah.
He hit him twice.
But what you don't see in this video is shortly before this clip, before he hit the cop, he was in an argument with a cop.
Twice. Bam. Yeah. He was in an
argument with a cop. There was a state trooper. It wasn't the same state trooper, but the troopers were trying to block an arrest that was behind him, and he was trying to shove his camera up.
I saw that one. Yeah.
And the cop pushed him backwards, and Carlos is like, pointing in his face.
Yeah, like you
screaming.
can't do that. Yeah, basically. I'm pressed. You can't do that.
And then shortly thereafter, that happened with the camera pushed twice in his back. And a lot of people took up for him. And it was quite obvious what happened.
Absolutely.
He was not falling or tripping. He pushed that.
Someone pushed me. No, you leaned into that twice, buddy. I'm sorry.
They let him out the next morning, dropped the charges. And now he's charged again with assault and I think... what is the other one? It was assault and interfering with official duties or something like that. He's in a lot of trouble for that.
As he should be, man. Like,
Fox is still taking up for him wholeheartedly, man.
They have to, because I mean, Fox is on its way out. We were just talking about this
All the
earlier.
mainstream media.
People were like, "Have you seen?" Because we have a couple newscasts running, in the break room, and you can change it from whatever you want to. The other TVs have our actual feed, and dude, it's so crazy to see how far Fox has fallen to where like the stuff they talk about, the stuff that they do, it's like clip art. You know what I'm saying? It's
well, that's all mainstream media. Who trusts mainstream media anymore? I mean, it's like
until they're scared.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But locally here, if you look at the news stations, I have not a huge following, but I mean, we're pulling numbers that's much more than what they're pulling on social media, and their engagement is just crap.
Oh, for sure. I could like say this proudly that this episode, it's only I have I'm going on recording almost my 28th episode, and I've released about 5, going on 6 or 7. But within those first 5-6 episodes, I do have more views than the Don Lemon show.
Man. Oh, yeah, Don. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I was going to consider a huge win for me because he was on CNN on a mainstream. Yeah, what do you want? What do you want
about the thing with Elon Musk and Don Lemon?
Bro, that is like the biggest. Like Don Lemon, you just sold yourself as the biggest piece of shit that lives. One of the biggest pieces of shit that lives on this planet. Like you had prime real estate with getting on X. Like people were hoping that you came to the other side. Like people were like, okay, you literally had a chance for a brand new fresh start, and you fucking blew it because you wanted to blow Jeff Zucker. Like you had the man who gave you the new start, and you wanted to ask him such fucking ridiculous questions. Like, bro, obviously you're just a talking puppet. Jeff Zucker still has his hand so far up your ass that he's just using you to fucking talk.
If Don Lemon or Lemon, however you say his name, if he would even come to the center and start, talking about real things, he would make it
for
big.
Sure. All he has to say is, "I'm sorry, I was brainwashed by CNN and I was trying to make a living, and now I'm here. I have massive. Elon Musk." Like he could have said that from the beginning. That's how he could have started his interview. Like, "I'm sorry, I worked for CNN. I was brainwashed, and now they canceled me. I understand, and now I have Elon Musk. Elon, thank you for giving me another chance."
And you could just see his face. His face is just like, I can't believe I'm sitting here with you.
Yeah, Elon. You talking about Elon? Yeah, Elon's like, wait, what the fuck did you just ask me?
I know.
And bro,
and then his demands. He wanted a Cybertruck, and it's like
I don't know about his demand. Gaymon, had demands after Elon volunteered to do an interview. Yeah, dude.
He had big demands. We're talking millions of dollars, a Cybertruck. I mean, the demands. People are saying that the demands were so crazy that it was almost like this was set up. He set it up to be, what it was. And but man, it blows my mind because he. If he could have just stayed with reality for a while, he would have been a huge star. And just right now, he would have been a huge star instead of this.
No, absolutely, man. And I feel like I wanted to be like Elon. And that was around the time that I launched my show. Yeah. And I wanted to be like, "Elon, hey, I know you just gave this piece of shit a chance, but I'll gladly replace him, and more people would gladly watch my show." I'm like, I'm not gonna simp for Elon like that and try to
I don't know, man. X is such a good place to build a following too. If you're, I mean, my following is small, but I've worked really hard to get there in the last 2 years, and it's a great place to build a following. And now it's even better because I don't have to really worry about the content being X'd out because YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of those other places, they'll remove my content. Facebook and YouTube have already said we're a dangerous organization, so they've limited the reach. And so X, I don't even focus on those places. It's just
people are like, "Do you have anything else?" I was like, "I'm on Rumble, I'm on Spotify, and I'm on X and Band.Video, of course."
Rumble is the weird one because
Rumble is weird.
I could get traction on all these other sites, but Rumble, I could never get any traction.
And it's like their front page content is just like, okay, they kind of changed to a YouTube format.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get like the people who would get people to go there. But I will say though, with Rumble, I do love Rumble because they are very, very considerate.
Oh yeah.
And I will say this, and I haven't been able to say this publicly, and I'm glad that it's coming up now. But so other people can see and understand what happened is when I created Toxic Culture, I created a Rumble channel as well. But there was already a channel named Toxic Culture, and they hadn't posted in like 2 years. So I had to make a channel called A Toxic Culture. So my first episode was released on the network of Infowars on a Sunday Night Live show. So that happened, and not even a couple days later, I went to Rumble to upload that first episode. Maybe I saw it on the second episode, but I went back to Rumble to upload it, and my channel was changed to Toxic Culture. And A Toxic Culture, which was the name of the channel, was now a channel on my page, on my profile.
Okay.
And there is no more of the other Toxic Culture.
Interesting.
So they automatically, I was trying to figure out how I could email them, and before I could even reach out to Rumble, they fixed the issue I was going to bring up to them. So like, there's no more that other 2-year channel that didn't put out anything. Was gone, and now I had.
That's interesting.
Then the main, and I was just like, so I haven't been able to thank them personally. So right now, from the bottom of my heart, I do want to say, Rumble, I do appreciate it. I do really, I am grateful for you doing that without even me, like, just knowing that y'all noticed that and y'all changed that. Like, that means a very, very much to me. So I will say I love Rumble because of that, and not only because of that, is they've one of the few places that harnessed Infowars in general. So thank you.
Yeah, and Rumble, I love their interface because I've connected my YouTube channel to it. So anytime I upload to YouTube, it automatically just uploads to Rumble. So it's handy. It just pulls everything over. So.
See, I'm still new to all that, so I need to. I'm gonna have Chase Geyser help me out with a lot of stuff because I'm new to all this, guys. I'm like, I've been censored for 5 years now. It's like, banned video, cool. X, like, no, there's a whole thing that you can do now to make things a lot easier and expedite. And
Rumble, I thought that like my content would do well over there because it's there's not as much censorship but I can't figure it out. Maybe I need to talk to Chase about it too because I sure can't figure it out.
Yeah, Chase is a wizard, man.
Yeah.
So with everything that we're going through right now, society is going through, and you coming from where you come from and your background, what right now could the government or America should do that way we can turn this ship around and help everybody from people like yourself now to people like who you were in 2011 and maybe even our youth? Because with inflation and price of gas, it's basically inflation is basically killing a lot of Americans.
Yeah, I think a big part is focusing more on America instead of Middle East, instead of Israel and Palestine and Ukraine, and keeping a lot more of that money here within our own borders. When it comes to homelessness, services is a huge thing. People will tell you that homelessness is caused by a lack of housing or a lack of jobs, and the truth is most of these folks are on drugs, alcohol, or mental issues. Something is causing them to be homeless, and a lot of that money could be spent on services to help these people kind of get their life back on track. But having politicians that care more about you and I than they do about a war or a foreign government, I think like Matt Gaetz. I love Matt Gaetz. He's America first. And if we had more people like him and Rand Paul and Ron Paul, I think we would be doing a lot better. Even somebody like Ross Perot.
Yeah, we're getting there. They're slowly getting the new right.
Yeah.
Which is just centrists who are putting America first under the Republican name.
Yep.
You know, and I think we should have like a, you know how rhinos is a bad name for Republicans.
Oh yeah.
Like we should have a name for the centrists who are like fighting under the Republican Party.
Sure.
Like, you know, Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh yeah.
Maybe J.D. Vance. There's not to Byron Donalds. There's not too many people you can really say that they Rand Paul. You know, there's not too many people.
Yeah.
You know, look what happened like to Steve Scalise.
Yeah.
Like he got shot at the Republican